Uh, Good afternoon from Australia. My name is Zachariah. It is yet another pleasure for me to continue on what hits me hard. And I like the hitting anyway, because that is the best thing that can awake me up. And I like it. Talking about the truth. And who am I exactly? I feel like sharing what is here on the screen before you, with you. And I consider it very important, even from top to bottom. And it is from the book of John, wrongly called chapter 8. Ideally, the name should be Yochanan. That is the Hebrew Aramaic name for this particular person. I must confess, I've not yet known the meaning of Yochanan, but I know that Yochanan was not an Englishman. So the idea of John is our own. And when we say John and we call Yochanan, you will agree with me perfectly that they don't have the same meaning. Even if we carve a meaning for John, the meaning for Yochanan must be different. And I'm convinced about that. So using John is actually in great error. And it does not only stop at John, it goes along with other similar names that we've changed them into English names in the bid to anglicize everything. I always have a feeling that names should not be changed. Names of places, names of people must not be changed from their original nativity. Because when we change it, we alter it. Or even if it is not from their nativity. For example, if my name is Mr. Waters and I happen to go to a particular ethnic group, everybody knows, in that group, they have water. And so if the water in their language is and because I've come there and my name is Mr. Waters, so they want to introduce me. And because I am Mr. Waters and they want to introduce me in their own language, definitely I will not even know whether they're referring to me by the time they say Mr. Amu, because the plural of is Amu. So I will not even know they're referring to me. But if it is my turn to be introduced and they say Mr. Waters, then I will know that they're referring to me. So you can see this is the effect of changing names to tally with anything. You don't change the names of places, you don't change the names of people, you don't change, there are specific things that they are native to particular places. We can't change the name. We may use it elsewhere. For example, we can't say Jerusalem and we feel we are pronouncing a place. No, it is not true. Because Jerusalem is the correct place. Yes, I'm not calling it very well, but I know that it is not Jerusalem anyway. So let us just get some of these things properly. So in Yochanan chapter 8, I have tried to look at this verse again to some extent, and I feel that it is important to share it properly. In verse 31, then said Yeshua to those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed. Well, I'm not surprised that the people that surrounded Yeshua at this particular time were the Jews. And just like any other tribe, they found it very difficult to believe in this Yeshua, who has spoken so many claims about himself. and in some cases have demonstrated, for example, giving sight to the blind, or feeding thousands, or even raising the dead in some places. So amidst those miracles, of course, many of the Jews did not believe in him. However, those who chose to believe in him, he gave them an instruction. He told them, see, you are not yet my disciples, even though you have believed in what I am, who I am, where I have come from, the purpose of my coming. You are now in the picture of these things. But those things do not qualify you to become my disciples. The only thing that will make you to be my disciples is to continue in my word. You've just started, and so you have to continue until you die in it. It gives us the room to see that at any point in time, we are free to break our relationship with the Almighty, with the truth. We can break it at any time if we choose to. But if we would actually be what Yeshua wants, then there's no doubt or gainsaying that we must continue in the word that has been expressed. So now, what is that word? Remember, it is not words, but it is the word. So what is that word? There is no better classification and proper understanding of this than the truth. You keep your truth apart. Come to my own truth. Accept my own truth. Continue in it. And then what will happen? In verse 32, and ye shall know the truth, because the word speaks only the truth. The word is the truth. In John chapter 17, verse 13, the same Yeshua spoke and said, sanctify them through thy word, for thy word is true, is truth. It is true. And so anytime we are studying the scriptures, it will sum up into one thing: the truth. Whatever book you are reading, whether Genesis or Exodus or Deuteronomy or whatever, and whether you are reading Revelation or anything, the ideal situation is that it will end up telling you the truth. You will understand the truth differently. You will see the higher level of the truth. It will reveal to you exactly who you are. That is why when Paul, which is one of the things that I like about Paul, when he wrote to Timothy about the scriptures in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 16, I'm paraphrasing it, please. All scripture is inspired, or is the inspiration of the Almighty, or the Creator, or the person who has come to redeem, the person who sent for our redemption. And it is good for what? Sound doctrine. It is good for what again? Teaching, training. It is good for instruction, correction, and instruction in righteousness, correction, and rebuke. There are 4 things there: sound doctrine, reproof, correction, and instruction in righteousness. When you read the scriptures, don't read them with the mind that you know. Read them with the mind that you would either be put back on the sound doctrine because you've been off it, of which I have seen clearly that most of the so-called mega churches that we have, they are not following the sound doctrine, despite their claims. And there are so many things that have gone wrong and are clearly wrong. But for those who don't see them, they assume that everything is going fine. I will not give names for now, but with time, we'll begin to look at some of these things. So, you see, you must be re-informed about the kind of doctrine that is in you or you are swallowing. And truly, the only one that can remain in the person whose source is the word and whose source, who abides in the truth, will be the truth. And then what will happen again? It will rebuke you. Why will it rebuke you? Because we are constantly standing in our own truth, personal truth, stand on the way, blocking us from actually having access to the truth. It will also correct us. And by correction, it means it will take us away from our false stands. Whatever it is that is false, it will take us away from it and it will bring us back to the truth. And then it will instruct us to be in the path of righteousness all the time. Righteousness and the truth are synonymous because wherever the truth is, righteousness is prominent. We do the right thing. That's just it. We do the right thing. We say the right thing. We think the right way. And that is the way the scriptures is supposed to be. Then when we have known the truth, then the truth shall make you us free. Excuse me. May we get this properly. As long as we remain in our truths, we are not free. No matter how we embellish our truth, no matter how we present it, no matter how much we are convinced about our truths, it is not enough to give us freedom. And that is just it. True freedom comes when we have known the truth. Well, we'll just go down a little bit and we'll understand what it means, what freedom actually means as the truth is presenting it. They answered him in verse 33. We be Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man. How sayest thou, ye shall be made free? Agree with me again. These people were genuine. They were honest because they believed that they had come from Abraham, and by implication, everything about Abraham belonged to them. Here, we can see the Messiah, the Savior, who is clearly the truth in these verses, saying it clearly. All have sinned, including Abraham, and fallen short of the standard that the Almighty has set. And by implication, it means that our origin is not what is the most important thing. It is who we are. We may come from anywhere, but who we are, when we have been able to identify ourselves, when we have been able to clearly see who we are, then it will pave way for us. So by them bringing up this, we are beginning to understand a lot of things and to also see whether the Messiah came specifically as claimed even by him to the lordship of the house of Israel or to the entire world. We are clearly saying, let us see what Yeshua told them in verse 34. Yeshua answered them, verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committed sin is a servant of sin. What am I trying to learn from here, just as I intend to share with you? Do you see that Yeshua did not even refer to being from Abraham's seed? Seed. No. Yeshua has taken us to the origin when Adam and Eve were in the garden. And what happened? And since the fall, every human being has been in the sinful world. David put it very well. In sin did my mother conceive me. And that is the precision of it all. And as soon as I was born, I went astray. And all of us are as sheep that have gone astray. So we are beginning to understand that our claims do not actually make us to be in the truth. Our opinions do not actually make us to be in the truth. Our dogmas do not actually make us to be in the truth. Call it anything, even if you call it belief system or your inherited belief system, does not actually make you or me to be in the truth. That is what Yeshua is helping us to understand here, from the way I am also understanding it. The key thing is sin. And it is only the truth that can reveal sin as it is. Sadly, I've gone through the Quran in its 114 surahs. There's no single place I've seen the word sin. I've tried to play around with some of the Hindu books. I've not seen the word sin. I've played around with some of the Sikh books and Buddhist books and so on and so forth. I've tried to look at where sin, the word sin, can appear. And I found that no book in the world has referred to anything called sin. We can only see the word sin in the scriptures that the Messiah is talking about. So in essence, the truth will tell us that sin is our enemy. Freedom it cannot be with the sinner. You can never live in sin and be free. What a reality. So as long as we are in our truth, where sin prevails, we are void of the truth and therefore void of freedom. Turn around and look. And what do you see? Some are walking naked, some are doing this, some are doing that, and they call it freedom. That is not freedom. Freedom does not allow you to remain in sin. Freedom sets you free from sin. Coming out out of sin is the true freedom that the truth has come to present. Get the message of the Messiah again. I may not explain it satisfactorily, but I know that you are up there or down there, wherever you are, reading it very, very well. Yeshua answered them, the Jews that have come to believe, who are claiming that they are Abraham's seed, and they have never been under bondage of any man. The Messiah said, yes, you may not actually have been physically this and that, but you have been bonded to sin. You were slave to sin. Sin maneuvered and controlled you. Sin was your manipulator. So it is not your father that is the problem. It's not your mother that is the problem. It's not your brother that is the problem. It's not your sister that is the problem. It's not even your wife or anybody. It is you that is the problem. You have sin in you. And because sin is in you, it interferes with your freedom. You cannot live freely. What a message to all of us. So where there is freedom, there is truth. Or rather, where the truth is, there is freedom. And by implication, it means that there is no sin in that place. So if you turn and look at the world by imagination or whatever, and imagine the number of people that live in sin, are you one of them? For those who don't even know what sin is when we have read the scriptures, because the book that mentions sin is the only book that can help you to identify the sin and help you to understand what sin really is. So if you don't know the scriptures, then you will not know what sin is. And as long as you don't know what sin is, you cannot stop committing the sin. And as long as you keep committing sin, then you are void of the truth. And once you are void of the truth, then you are not free. even when you can smoke 20 packets of cigarette, even when you can drink and drink, even when you can do all kinds of immoral acts, even when you can choose to be a male, you can choose to be a female when you are a male, and you choose to be a male when you are a female. What a shame. All these are the manifestations of sinfulness in us. Yes, you can't practice lesbianism because the book that mentions sin condemns it. You can't marry your own similar sex because the book that mentions sins condemn it. Condemns it. So you don't have any excuse. And this is what people say: when we do it like that, then we're not free. Oh, I plead that we'll come back to our senses, especially those of us who are going astray, that will come back to our senses and understand what we are supposed to understand. And so we now understand that sin, freedom, can never dwell together. It can never be dwelt together. But what is freedom? Freedom is as a result of us abiding in the truth. Then we have gotten freedom, because if we continue in the world, then we will not only be, we will become the disciples of the Messiah indeed, and then we will know the truth because we've continued in the word as disciples, and the truth will do what? It will set us free. I don't know what happened to these Jews who had this. When their root, their pride, oh, I have a good father, I have a good mother, something like that. Or I have a good husband, or I have a good wife, or all those things like that. Those things don't take away sin. You must recognize that your truth puts you in sin. Your truth covers is an essential part of your definition. Remember, you are unique, and your uniqueness depends on the truth that is in you, which is you, which defines you. And that particular truth of yours, makes you to be a sinful person, makes you to, a best way for you to abide in sin. Until you come out of this and accept the truth, then will you really understand yourself properly. But when you abide in your truth at the negligence of the truth, then you are a sinful person. You are a sinner. And therefore you lack freedom. What a message. No wonder in verse 35, what does it say? And in verse 34, yes, in verse 35, it says, and the servant abided not in the house forever, but the son abided forever. So now we can see those who have come to know the level of their truth and have accepted the truth, they are like the son that abides in the house. However, those who say, no, we don't need to know anything further. Well, okay. Religion is enough for us. Our denominations are enough for us. We have ministries. We're okay with that one. And we add other things. Oh, we have supra organizations. Oh, we form this. We are good Samaritans. We are that and that. While those people who dwell on those things, if they reject the truth, they are servants. And they will not remain in the house forever. Goes back again to the Abraham seed. Yes, you are linked to Abraham. But one thing will take you away: sin. You may have the coloration of Abraham, but sin can take those things, take the coloration from you. So that is a message. Who are you? Son or servant? The son continues in the word. The son abides in the truth. The son knows what freedom is. And therefore, the son can stay in the truth forever and ever. Why can't we make that a choice? Now look at verse 36. If the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. So now look at it. We've talked about freedom. in verse 34, we're now understanding clearly that our freedom is the truth is personified. Therefore, anyone who will reject this personified truth in the Son or in Yeshua or the Messiah, then the person is on his own. The person is a servant. So what would I want you to go to take in these verses that we've read? We must know the truth. Otherwise, we must have a source. And the source should be the truth. And to get to that source, we must continue in what the truth is teaching us. And then we will now understand what freedom is. And what negates freedom? Sin. And where can we get to know what sin is? Not in any book. You can never find this anywhere except in the scriptures. And that is why for those who have read the scriptures, we can see specific examples of what are called sin. What examples of sin? We can see them there. If we run out of this, we will not get the definition of sin right. People generally know what is wrong. They generally know what is right. For example, if I lie to you, I lie to even a sinner, they say he has lied. If I lie to the Australian government, for example, they will say I've lied. The Australian government may put me in prison for lying, especially when it is related with other consequences. But you know what? That does not mean they actually know what sin is. It may be in their constitution, but that does not actually mean they are even free, because freedom is for them to know the truth. This operation is at our level. Everything at our level is our truth. And the truth of the government is different from the individual truths that we have that constitute the government. So we need to understand this. So, we can choose to understand this. So by saying this, let the source of our life, not resource, let the source of our living be the truth. Because it is in this truth, who is also described as the Son, when this person sets us free, then we shall be free indeed. And please permit me to again ask, how many times do we see the word indeed? If we will continue in the word that the truth is teaching us, who is also the Son, then shall we be the disciples of this, truth of this person indeed. And then we will now enjoy what freedom is indeed. Let us test this and see. I will stop sharing the screen now. Thank you very much. Well, back again. It has been my delight to share with you specifically some of these fundamental truths. I delight so much, and I will encourage us to think and think and think about it. Remember to subscribe if you have not. Try to share it with any other person. Soon and very soon, I'll begin to take some other topical issues to see whether we actually abide in the truth, whether we understand the truth, and how can we live in the truth? Because by the time we choose to live in the truth, can I tell you something? Even some of our mega churches will go. They have to go because they are not living accordingly. And some of the conspicuous people that we call them ministers, men of God, and this and that, they may have to go. By the time the truth is better understood. And how can we understand the truth? Well, since we've accepted that there is a guiding book, that if we don't have the spirit of the truth in us, we can never understand that particular book. Then when we have immersed ourselves in the truth, we'll come out differently, understanding the truth. And so when we begin to share in the light of the truth, we'll understand it better. And then that is how we'll progress. Once again, I challenge us. Subscribe. Share the video with anybody. I'm not looking for membership. I'm only looking for people who, wherever you are, rise up and stand for the truth. Speak the truth. Stand up and talk about the truth. Be a truth bearer in your office, as a student, wherever. Let us be truth bearers. Yes. And when we are truth bearers, we'll bring the needed difference. Remain blessed. Thank you.